Hey YouTubers, Grimmy Dragon here, and once again it's review time, and today we are taking a look at the Transformers Titans Return Krok. Yeah, we're actually looking at a repaint this time. Krok is one I've had for a while. I just never got around to reviewing it until now, but he's a repaint of Skull Smasher, Skull Cruncher, whatever you want to call him. And it's a very interesting repaint because it's quite garish, a lot more garish than even the original Skull Cruncher, which is amazing in itself because that was pink and green. But yeah, you can see he's black, purple, and neon yellow, or greenish yellow. That's very neon. But it is an interesting color scheme. It really does make him pop. Very easily. Now mine has an issue where his jaw can be kind of paint stuck in, but you can open it. Mainly because the paint was put on very thick at the bottom part. But yeah, once you get it out, it's fine. Looks good. He's got a neon green tongue that's translucent and the same color as his teeth. I guess he needs to brush. I don't know, but he's got a ball jointed head, which is really nice. Yeah, he can move his little gator feet around if he needs to, which is nice, and wag his tail. So even the gator modes are articulated, which is pretty cool. Now, this isn't the only Krok I have. We'll see that in robot mode, but we'll look at that Krok's little buddy Gator Raider and see how well they look together. And yeah, I kind of wish this Krok came with a Gator Raider. But oh well, at least you got this one from the club. And if we are able to get it up, there we go. Yeah, this is very soft plastic and translucent. But we can bring out Gator face, which is pretty much a repainted Grax, who is that garish greenish yellow and purple with no paint on him except for the face on the back, which is unfortunate, but he's easy to spot, that's for certain. Now for comparison, let's bring in Skull Smasher. And yeah, there is quite a difference between the two. A very heavy difference between the two. You know, I actually think Krok came out a little bit better. But in any case, we got a couple more things to look at. So we can take off Krok's tail. We'll have a little sled. We can take the gun out, flip it so it's actually pointing straight. We'll put Gator face in first so you can actually man it, although this is one where you definitely have to put the arms up for. You can just ride in there, pop the gun in, and yeah, you got an attack sled or turret, whatever you want to call it. And that's pretty cool. We'll get to that later. But let's get Krok in robot mode. So we just flip the legs out, come apart, put the gator feet in, attach those. Flip out the toes, and they're in tight. At least one of them is. Flip back the gator head and flip the arms down. Get those in. Flip up the claws, bring out the hands. Make sure that the knees are snapped in, because that'll make it a lot easier to get them to stand proper. And we'll just move it up. Get that flipped back up where it belongs. Then we'll take Gator Face, flip him in, and plug him in. And there we have Krok in his robot mode. Yeah, so Krok's robot mode is quite nice. It's actually well painted, I'll say that much. You got the paint on the legs, you got the paint on the chest and waist. And I think those hands are painted, so yeah, plenty of paint to go around on this guy. Interesting enough, his shoulders are kind of, like his arms are kind of inverted as far as colors go from the G1 toy, which I'll bring in right now, which the G1 toy was just an Action Master. But you can see a lot of the references are there, like the pink dots, the yellow legs, and pretty much all the details that are supposed to be there are there, which is nice. And the heads do match pretty well. We'll actually take a closer look at Krok's face. Ooh, too close. Well, it is a bit right. Let's bring it. You can see he does have some nice pinkish eyes. And he looks pretty good. Now his hips are quite loose, so you gotta be careful about that. That's unfortunate, but Skull Smasher had some similar problems. But yeah, I do like the look overall. But there is a better version of Krok in my opinion. And yeah, that is the Collectors Club Krok. Who didn't have any of those hip issues. And looks quite nice in his own right. Even if he is a little bit shorter. I think that comic Megatron mold actually looks pretty good for Krok. But yeah, this is a very nice one. Of course, we gotta bring in Skull Smasher, because why not? And as you can see, very different paint jobs, very different takes on that body, and they do look like entirely different characters as a result. I'm very appreciative of that. So yeah. Now, for articulation, we got the ball jointed head, can bang into the back a bit, so just be careful of that. You got ball jointed shoulders, they do have some in and out thanks to some hinges. Bicep swivel, elbow bend almost 90 degrees. Okay, you got wrist swivel, which is good. Waist swivel, ball jointed hips, very loose but still reliable. 90 at the knee, thigh swivel, and that's about it. So he is quite articulated, and that's good. I just wish the hips were a little tighter. May have to give him some floor polish. Now for accessories, he has two. He has his little neon blaster, and he has the shield sword weapon, which you can fit in his hand like this, or there's also a handle right there if you want to use that instead. I wouldn't recommend it personally. And of course, you can also combine the two guns into a super blaster, which is what I usually like to do. Now, fun little tidbit, if you did get Krok, like the Club Krok, or at least that little set with the microns for the dark saber, or you can actually fit Gatораtor here right in Krok's hands and use him as a blaster. So if you can get that little Gator mold, it's worth giving it to Krok, because he deserves to have his little buddy. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this little video. Please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. And I'll see you next time. So, until then, goodbye out there, whatever you are.